Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1.
Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Monday edition of the JP Peterson Show. Thanks, you guys, for being here. It's been an interesting weekend. The Bucs, we got a chance to see a bunch of great-looking rookies at Bucs minicamp. We got some impressions on that. Nick Geddes joining me here from On3 Sports. How was your weekend, my friend?
It was a good weekend, I think, for most everybody in the area. We dealt with our first bit of rain, it feels like, in months. Canceled us. I had a softball championship game. I'm already at that point, JP, where I'm playing in a men's league with all the neighborhood dads. Had
That's
a champion.
It's
a 26 to be doing that. And we had a championship game on Saturday, and there comes a thunderstorm to just wipe it all away. Can't come back the next day because it's Mother's Day. Shout out to all the mothers out there. So the rain killed it a little bit, but, and it's still raining today. And I left the house this morning to run an errand, and I wish I hadn't because everybody is like, doesn't know how to drive anymore.
No,
they never. They forgot what it's like when the rain's here. They
don't ever know how to drive in the rain. That's the worst part. Some people don't know what the gas pedal is, and the other people don't know what the brake is and how to drive in the rain. It's total chaos out there. But anyway, did you get one of the commemorative first rain out ponchos from the Rays? I'm sure those are up on eBay for thousands of dollars.
I know. I mean, the Rays fans, they love to buy pieces of the roof, apparently. So I'm sure people are going to be selling those ponchos like crazy. Thought it was kind of cool, though. Presented by Budweiser, of course.
Of course. Yeah, we have to have a sponsor. Absolutely. Interesting weekend for the Rays, but they get a series win at home. Shocking development. Absolutely shocking development. So, well, the way they won these games, too, just cray-cray. But we'll take it. We'll absolutely take it. Yes, Bucs Rays Bolts is already in. Dallas versus Eagles, week 1. We have schedule release week coming up. We cannot wait. We already know the teams, but we don't know exactly who the Bucs will be playing. So we'll do some Rays here. We got lots of Bucs to get to. We got a lot of interviews on Friday when we were over there. So I want to introduce you to these guys. I mean, what they're saying is not groundbreaking. Some of it's really, really good stuff. But mostly just want you to hear their voices and see their demeanors. And you could just tell that this group is listen, I don't know how good they're going to be on the football field. It's underwear football. These are just initial impressions. But, having covered the team for almost 30 years now, you do get some very good indications early on who are serious football players, who are kind of, as Jason Light would say, a-holes and douchebags. None of them here. Absolutely none of them here. It's a very, very impressive group on so many levels. So I just want you – we're going to run some video here in a little bit so you can hear some of their voices if you haven't heard them. I think you got a great group of guys. Just watching them out on the field, one of the things you noticed right away, first of all, from Benjamin Morrison, he is – obviously he had a couple of hip surgeries during his college career. I guess one in high school, one that cut his season short last year. But he looks great. He looks fantastic. He absolutely looks like he's ready to go 100%. Very smooth. He's a big kid. He is a big, stout cornerback. He kind of reminds me of a taller Darrelle Revis when Revis was here. Revis was a thick quarterback, thick corner. I mean, he was built, and this guy is built. He is no slouch. He's got longer arms. He's 6 foot. I would say he's 210, 215, but he runs really, really well. You look at him and you say, damn, that's a first round corner talent. That's what a first round corner talent looks like. I'm excited about that kid. That kid, I went back and looked at some of his stuff in Notre Dame. He started as a freshman. He did not shy away from the big assignments and the biggest games. He's physical. He's fast. He catches the ball, 9 interceptions in his first 2 years. I mean, this guy may end up being the most impactful player of this draft. And you'll hear from him in a second how mature he is. And I love that kid. Love him. I don't even like to call him a kid. He seems like a grown-ass man.
I know. He carries himself like a it's weird for me to call people like young man or like a kid or something like that. I'm not going to do that. But he definitely has a demeanor for it and the talent. Like I said, if not for this hip, and I guess it's a hip condition, we have to call it it's a condition, not necessarily an injury. And it sounds like once he had it worked on, I don't think it should be a problem going forward. And I hope not, because like I said, Benjamin Morrison, I think like 7 or 8 corners went ahead of him in the draft or something like that. I'm telling you, if this thing had never popped up last year, Benjamin Morrison would have been like the 2nd or 3rd corner off the board in the first round. So that's why when we looked at that Bucs draft class initially, I was like, the Bucs got 2 first-round players as far as I'm concerned. If we were just going straight off production, talent, tape, when they were healthy in the college level, Emeka Egbuka and Benjamin Morrison probably would have had first-round grades.
I would agree. And when you look at the not only just the rookie class, but the incoming players, because you add Hassan Reddick to that, right? So you get a guy that's been in the top 5 last 5 years in sacks, coming off the edge, and Hassan Reddick. Yes, older. How will he perform in this particular scheme? I don't know. But I know this. The guy's done it in the NFL. He's done it, which makes him yards, leaps ahead of even the best pass rushers in this draft who haven't done it. It takes a while to learn how to do this in this league, and this is a guy that's already done it. And the other 2, that was obviously your biggest need, so you filled that need. Now your other 2 biggest needs were, at least in my mind, corner for sure, any type of defensive back, and I think you got a first-rounder in Morrison. No question about it to me. I mean, listen, and it's not just, you watched him for one day. I watched him to see if he's healthy and how he moves. And you could just see guys they just move differently. The elite players just move differently to your eyes. You can't really, to me, it's hard to tell on tape sometimes, but to your eyes, they just move differently. And he moves differently. And he's big. And everything about him, when you turn on the tape, shows instincts. He can play zone. He can play press. He can do it all. And Jacob Parrish he's a stout kid, looks very much the part. This is a really, really interesting class in a lot of different ways. Of course, we saw Desmond Watson. He's just a massive thing, and he can't move. He just can't move very well. Just going through the calisthenics and going through the drills, he's just very, he's 450 pounds.
I've never wanted a player, though, to like work out more than I want Desmond Watson to somehow carve out a role. I want it so bad. I want it so bad.
Do, but I don't like, I think it's,
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen there, but I mean, it's just for now, it's cool. Like, I think he said, he's living like a dream, like with, Plant City High School, I think he went to, and then going to Florida and now being a Buck. Like never having to leave your home state to play your football career. So we'll see. But you mentioned Jacob Parrish. I saw a lot of people, all the reporters and obviously yourself that were there this weekend and on Friday, everybody was talking about Jacob Parrish and the immediate impact he had. And this is rookie minicamp. I mean, I don't know how much you're necessarily taking away, but it sounds like he had a couple interceptions during this process. And I think Todd Bowles even said that he called him an outside corner. We assumed when we saw his size that, okay, this is guy going to be a nickel because this is not a typical Todd Bowles outside corner. But it sounds like Todd said he's an outside corner right now. So I'm curious to see how they divvy that up. I'm sure things could change, but they seem to like him outside.
Well, I can see Benjamin Morrison playing inside with his size and his aggressiveness. Yeah, I could see that. I could see, and playing in Notre Dame, and I think you'll get this just from his interviews. He's just already seems like a polished professional, and you saw from the draft the emotion, and he talked about it. He said, "Look, man, I felt like I was a forgotten person. When you start as a freshman and sophomore, and then now you're everybody's projecting you to be a first round corner, and then the issue with the hip happens, and then people kind of forget about you, and there you are in the second round, and the Bucs get a steal. And Parrish could be that guy as well. But corner is one of those positions where you got to get into games, man. We got to see how you react, how you read defenses or offenses, how you read quarterbacks. What are your instincts? How do you play? Both of them have tremendous tape. They both have tremendous tape. So that tells you that it seems like they do. But the NFL's just a different deal. It's just a different deal. So we'll see. But early indications are just from the way these guys handle themselves and carry themselves, and you see them on the field, they look like really, really good players.
Yeah.
And the tape backs that up as well. It's not just underwear football.
Yeah, and I don't want to overrate them either, because the fact of the matter is this is a passing league. It's very difficult for even the top corners that go in the draft, and even some of the best corners in the league. It's a very volatile position. It's very up and down, even one game to the next, 1 year to the next. It's like the best corners in the league, so much change every single year. So these guys will probably go through rookie growing pains. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, and I think that's why, the Bucs probably held on to Jamel Dean for now, at least for one more season, because if you didn't have Jamel in there and you just went straight up Zion, Parrish, Morrison,
that's a lot of inexperience. Yeah.
It's a lot of inexperience that you're asking right there. So, and also I don't think Todd's scheme is the easiest to necessarily pick up either.
Well,
for a young player.
It's not, but you know what? Being over there on Friday, I was talking with Scott Reynolds and some of the other media guys over there. Zion McCullum was on their podcast last week. Great listen. Go check that out. Pewter Report podcast with Zion. And we talked about how they're changing the defense. They're changing the coverages. They're simplifying the coverages, which I think is drastically needed. You talk to a lot of people who break down defenses and grade defensive backs and know a lot about schemes, and they'll tell you that, like, this is a very complicated system. They even admit it. They talk about it. The coaches talk about it. So I think and when you have this many miscommunications late into the season from guys that have been playing the defense for 3 or 4 or 5 years, that's a problem. At some point, you got to look at your defensive scheme and say, what are we doing wrong? Are we asking the players to read too much, do too much at the snap? What are we doing wrong? So I think you see a whole shuffling of the defensive coaching staff. You hear what Zion's talking about, and I think what we're going to see is they're going to allow players to play. At some point, you want to stop tricking them, and you want to start playing football. Yep. And I think Todd's defense is a lot of tricking, and we say this all the time with offense. And when you're running trick plays, it means you don't think you're good enough to beat them straight up. The talent on this defense is good enough to beat people straight up. You've got corners who can run, who can play, who are physical, who are smart. You've got, I think with Servassier Dennis at the inside and Levante David, you've got some guys that can cover inside now, and maybe the middle won't be the great wide open. You've got some pass rushers that can actually beat people one-on-one. So I don't want to drop Vita Vea into coverage anymore. I don't want to drop my outside linebackers just to constantly tricking people. I want them to Vita Vea, go forward and crush man. Same with Kalijah Cansey. He's an excellent pass rusher, and obviously Hassan Reddick is an excellent pass rusher that can beat people one-on-one. They should be able to get pressure with just 4, and this should make this 29th ranked pass defense immeasurably better. And I think at some point you want to stop trying to trick them and just go play them. And I think Bowles realizes that. The one thing you can say about Todd Bowles is he is very self-aware of his weaknesses, and he is allowing others and listening to others, hired a full-time game manager, changing the defense, mixing up, changing the coaching assignments on defense for the better. I think all these things are great developments, and it's from a coach that's not relying on his ego and say my way or the highway. I think that's good. I think that's really good. As we said here many times, nobody's rooting more for Todd Bowles than we are. Love the dude. It's just you can't be 2-6 in 7-point games. You got to be better. You got to manage games better. Your defense has to be better in the clutch. You got to be able to get stops at the end of games. If you're going to leave the game in the defense's hands, you got to be able to get stops. Not a good strategy,
Yeah,
So,
and not to belabor this point, but I still think as much as the vibes are still high, I would say at $1 right now. Riding off the success that they've had over the last 5 years, but I still believe Todd Bowles. I don't know to what degree his seat is hot or something like that, because I think the organization does, really love him. I think Jason Licht really loves him. I think everybody wants it to work. He's showing some personal growth with some of the things that he has said this offseason and some of the actions that he's made too. But the pressure is, I think, on him, though, to try to go a little bit further in the playoffs. I think everybody would agree with that. If we get down the road and the Bucs win 10 games again, or they win 11 games and they go home in the first round, there's going to be a lot of more talk about Todd Bowles' future with the Bucs. So, and I think he knows that too. I think he knows that because the Bucs just literally had the opportunity, if they wanted to go in a different direction and give Liam Cohen the keys to this, and they said no. So you want to talk about a vote of confidence? They gave it to Todd Bowles, in my opinion, by keeping him over going with Liam Cohen, one of the great innovators offense in football right now. But the pressure's on, and I think he understands that, and I think some of the moves he's made is sort of indicating that. I don't know if the team ownership told them that, hey, we need to change things or what, but I'm glad it's happening, but you got to go do it. You got to go do it now.
Yeah, I think this roster is too good to be losing home playoff games. First round home playoff games. Jaden Daniels is a great quarterback, but they're just too good. They're too good. They should have gone further last year, and this roster is even better this year. So if they don't make a deep run, I think there's going to be issues. And
nothing tells me, I think the division too, like the division I think is trending in a better direction because I think Carolina, I like what Carolina's doing. If Bryce Young continues to build on what he did in the second half of last season, I think Carolina is a team that not necessarily a playoff contender, but I could see them win 7 games. I could see them win 8 games maybe. They could pull that out. Atlanta, we'll see what happens with Michael Penix, but they added pass rush in their on their defense. They should be better there, but can they put it all together? And then New Orleans is the basement of the division again, and obviously with what Derek Carr retiring. Yeah, now it's Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, Jake Haener, who's going to be the quarterback. Not a lot of confidence there. So I still really feel good about the Bucs in this division too. Like they are the top dog. It seems like everybody's come to that side now, where nobody's picking like Atlanta to like win the division or whatever. They're picking the Bucs now. Yeah, like last year, they're picking the Bucs because the Bucs do have the best roster in this division.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's get to some of the specifics, shall we? Some of the young men. Again, very enjoyable experience as a reporter to be able to, just have an audience with these young men, just kind of see who they are. Again, these are not groundbreaking comments. I'm just playing them just to kind of see who these young men are. So let's start at the top with Emeka Egbuka. The G is silent, we're told. So I believe this is him talking about getting acclimated to Tampa Bay.
No stranger to the leadership role. You feel a need to be a leader among the rookie class?
Oh, him on leadership. I asked him this question. That's key. He's a great leader at Ohio State.
I feel like that was a kind of a character trait of mine that, through the scouting department, something that, Jason and Coach Bowles had looked at when recruiting me from Ohio State. So I think that's something that they expected me and something that I'm very comfortable in doing. So, someone's got to kind of lead and take charge, and I feel very capable and confident in doing that.
How does it change when the
there's a whole class of young guys that still need to be led, and a whole class of young guys are still rookies. So I definitely defer to vets in kind of all areas. But they don't want to deal with all the mess that comes with a rookie class sometimes. So just making sure that we're all in line and we're able to help them out in any way that they need, and just be under their wing and listen and learn to everything that they have to teach us.
It's Emeka Egbuka. From Ohio State, of course, won a national championship there. He also talked a lot about his faith, which, as did David Walker. You could tell there's a spiritual awakening, if you will, among a lot of the young players. Baker Mayfield, I heard a clip from him this week. It's something that Ohio State used, I think, very effectively in bringing their team together and winning a national championship. So I think it's an interesting part of what's going on at One Buck Place. I don't want to belabor the point, but I just thought I'd bring it up.
The Bucs have the most choir boys in the NFL right now. Maybe
can you win with choir boys? You can't. But you need a little dirty.
I think it's one of those things where I think Jason Licht has done a tremendous job of building this roster, and I'll put this front office, right there in a tier 1. If I had to, rank front offices in the NFL, I'd put them in tier 1 for sure. And I was listening to obviously what Jason Licht said when you spoke to him last week. Obviously, what he said on McAfee the whole douchebags and assholes comment. And he sort of like, not walked it back necessarily, but if there's a douchebag who can get to the passer, I'll take him, or get to the quarterback rather, I'll take him. It's one of those things I'm curious about. It's like, I like the whole, we're going to try to find high character guys who are really talented, but at the same time, I don't want to like completely ignore, maybe there's a player who's got a little bit of issue with ego or whatever, but he's damn talented. Like, at some point, I do want to see them take a swing on that and trust what they have in the building. Like, hey, we bring him into our building. We bring him into our locker room with our leaders, with our leadership, that this guy won't be a problem. At some point, I think they need to take a swing on that, because I would like to see a little bit more edge in the team, maybe to get him over. Yeah, some more dog to get him over the hump. But at the same time, I mean, you've drafted high character guys, and it hasn't exactly steered you wrong yet. It hasn't.
It's interesting though, because people kind of equate being, a man of faith with not being a dog. Like, Reggie White was a dog.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like the faith thing that I'm talking about. But
Derek Brooks is a very godly man. He'll knock your chest off. So don't want to confuse the few. But no, I always say, that Bucs team had a lot of choir boys on it, but it had a lot of edge to it too. That 0-2 Bucs team I'm talking about.
The same thing with the 20 team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fine, like, who are those dogs on the defense? Like Vita Vea. Vita Vea plays a violent game. He plays a violent game, but he's as soft-spoken as you can. Same with Kalijah Cansey. I have not met Hassan Reddick yet, so I don't really know. So there's some, like a Ben Morrison. Like, you turn on the tape, and Jacob Parrish. You turn on the tape, and David Walker. David Walker, we'll hear from him in a second. All these guys seem very mild-mannered, but the tape is not. The tape is not, and that's good. So you got to be a little careful about that, because guys can be respectful and leaders and statesman-like, but also be dogs. And it's the tape that doesn't lie. And you look at the tape, and it's violent. A lot of it is very, very violent. Like John Lynch was as nice and polite a young man as you'll ever meet in your life. But you don't need me to tell you he was violent and he came with an edge. So it's kind of a different thing. And I think give me a group of guys like this over what they seem to be assembling in Atlanta. I would.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Atlanta's gone more of the.
If there's character concerns, we'll fix it, they think.
Yeah, and you see, there's always a story coming out of Atlanta. Like, you can say with the Bucs, the Randy Gregory thing was like a minor thing, but Randy Gregory was never like a lock to make the roster or anything like that. They signed him to a 1-year $1 million deal or something like that. Yeah. That wasn't like a big risk. Like, it didn't work out, but at the end of the day, you don't hear about drama with the Buccaneers at all. And like, trust me, someone fan of this team, and you've covered them. There's been some bad locker rooms with the Bucs.
Oh God, yes.
And so the fact that we're at this point where we don't even have to talk about that stuff being an issue is, again, it's a testament to what Jason Licht has built.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, here's I can't tell exactly which one this is, so I apologize. I'll let you know as we play it.
Pen to paper was like
this is him, Abuka, signing his contract.
Moment in my life, something I've been chasing ever since I could, play football. Some kind of just that, those financial implications that come with it, and being able to bless my family and give back to them in any way that I can. So just having that confidence in the contract and everything like that, just it's a crazy feeling.
There could be a lot of pressure, but how much does it help?
Yeah, it helps a lot. I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow. And, I kind of want to just do anything I can to maximize my opportunity. So, obviously, I know I was picked very high in the NFL draft. And, there's a lot of expectations that come with that. But I think those expectations pale in comparison to the expectations I have for myself. So, I'm no stranger to expectations. I put a lot of pressure on myself. And, sometimes it could be good. Sometimes it could be bad. But I have, big dreams, and I'm very ambitious. So, just doing my diligent work every day to be able to reach those.
What is that like for you going into, you're going to be?
That's Abuka talking about the pressure of being a first-round pick. This kid, has played in the biggest games on the biggest stages. I don't think it phases him one bit. And it's one of the things that the Bucs, again, look for. They look for guys that have been in these situations that have performed well, because you can really get burned with guys like that. Guys that, they get so wide-eyed that they just can't handle the moment. And that's what sometimes a worry if you're bringing in a small school kid. But I think obviously with Ibuka, that's not an issue.
Isn't it amazing too that, receiver is one of those positions, and most receivers will tell you, like, I think I heard Malik Neighbors talk about this actually last week on a podcast. He's like, yeah, we are divas. Like, we are. Like, he admitted it. And most receivers are, especially the really good ones. But it's kind of amazing how the Buccaneers have somehow built this room to have 4 legit, grade A weapons in Evans, Godwin, McMillan, and Ibuka. And none of them are like that.
Yeah.
None of them are like that. Like, I can already tell you, like, just by listening to him speak and even watching him at Ohio State, because remember, he was in a receiver room that included Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Marvin Harrison Jr., Jeremiah Smith, Carnell Tate. The list goes on and on and on. And I don't recall it ever being an issue. Like, if he wasn't getting, and by the way, he did get the ball plenty. I mean, he's Ohio State's all-time leading receiver, receptions and yards. And think about the names I just threw out there. Think of the names that have been around that program even before this sort of boom period now with the job that Brian Hartline has been doing as receiver coach. Yeah. And it never was an issue. So it's amazing how they, at this position, which is now turned into a premium position in this league, they don't really have these issues with divas or anything. And everybody's like, oh, how are you going to divvy up the targets? Like, I don't think these guys are really worried about that.
No. And that's important, because you can, guys like, we saw it with Deshaun Jackson, we've seen it here before, and it can be an issue. There's no question about it. They get in the quarterback leader. Yeah, absolutely. You don't need that stuff. You just don't need it. And AB, watch how one player can destroy your team, and it's usually the wide receiver. So I don't think Jason Light is long for any of those cats. No question about it. All right, let's take our first break. When we come back, we'll hear from David Walker and Tez Johnson. Both of these guys very enjoyable to chat with in kind of different ways. Very different young men for sure. So we'll hear from them as well. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawgroup.com. If you're involved in an accident, that's got to be your first call. You can contact them through the website. Just go to the website. You can email them, call them, JeevesLawGroup.com, JEEVESLawgroup.com. They are local, they are trusted, and they get results. So give them a call. Scott Jeeves, you've heard him on the program many, many times. Great dude. They will fight for you. So don't go to one of those big firms. Just make your number. Stay local with the folks that support this show and support your local community. Jeeves Law Group. Not attorney spokesman, offices Tampa, St. Pete. Back at 3.
Although it may seem tempting to go without health care insurance, the financial risk far outweighs the gain you may experience. For example, did you know if you simply broke your leg, it could cost you nearly $7,500? Put on top of that a hospital stay, you could be looking at $10,000 to $15,000. Ensuring that you don't go uncovered is so important, as according to CNBC, high medical bills are the highest contributing factor to why Americans end up taking money out of their retirement savings, or worse, find themselves filing bankruptcy. So go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. Now, depending on your income, you can get plans for zero premium. Our experts will guide you through the process effortlessly. They will shop many plans and find the one that's right for you. I called and I have full health coverage through Florida Blue for zero monthly premium. It's a free call. So why go uncovered? It's a huge risk. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. that's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for Riveters, our new official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. And just like our show, no BS, no corporate chain feel, just amazing, authentic folks serving great comfort food in a casual atmosphere at unheard of prices. Riveters is located just south of Raymond James and Steinbrenner Field on Dale Mabry, walking distance to the park, so free parking, great place for pregame and postgame. Let's talk about fresh food. Nothing is frozen. Burgers, wings, prime rib, roasted fresh daily, never frozen. That makes a huge difference. The mahi, the salmon, also super fresh. All our sauces are original recipes made in-house. Our Warhawk chili and fully loaded potato soup is made fresh in-house. It's the best food anywhere, served by people who actually care. Riveters on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of where the Bucs and Rays play. We'll see you there. Are you looking to renovate your home, rebuild after the hurricanes, or build your dream home from scratch? Well, let me tell you about my friend Jason Fawcett and On-Site Construction. They have over 1,450 satisfied clients, 25 years of experience, over 500 designs, and a talented team of over 40 construction professionals. They believe building something exceptional begins by truly focusing on all the details, even the smallest ones. We understand that construction can be a daunting process, and we're here to make it as smooth and stress-free as possible. Quality is non-negotiable at On-Site Construction. We use the finest materials, employ the most skilled tradespeople, and adhere to the highest industry standards to deliver a product we're proud of and that you're going to love. Our project management is meticulous with a focus on completing projects on time and on budget. Your happiness is our primary driver. So give us a call at 813-579-5789 or check out our incredible website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show as we roll on a Monday here after Bucs rookie minicamp. We'll get to some more interviews here in a second. We're brought to you by Riveters. Great place to hang out. Pre- and post-Rays games, just about a little less than a mile away from Steinbrenner Stadium. You can park there, walk on down to the stadium. The happy hour is fantastic. The food, fresh, awesome. So check it out. Riveters, just north of 275 on Dale Mabry, the official bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. Thank you guys so much for joining us here this morning. Nick Geddes from On3 Sports is joining me as well. How was your NASCAR weekend, by the way? Nick writes NASCAR stories for On3 Sports. We had a little comment in the comments earlier today.
Yeah, I had it. Where was it at here? From Mike H, I think. He said NASCAR is unwatchable with all the wrecks a half lap into restart. They did get a little wreck happy late in that race, but compared to the previous races, I would say this one yesterday was a little bit of a step in the right direction. We had a dominant day from Kyle Larson, who led 221 of 267 laps from the pole, won every stage. He's the class of the field. Some people don't like when he dominates because it just is not the most entertaining spectacle, but a little bit of a step in the right direction. But yeah, there's a lot of discussion right now about the car and whatnot, and horsepower. Like, they don't run the highest horsepower anymore like they used to. That's a big talking point. So yeah, there's a lot going on in NASCAR. A lot of discussions about the car right now because some of the races have been really flat this year.
Yeah, well. I go back to the heyday and all. I don't know. It's just kind of a chicken and the egg thing where everybody knew all the drivers. And these guys, a lot of them are super inexperienced. Does that lead to more wrecks? I would guess so.
The thing is, to explain the wreck thing, and especially some of them late in the race real quick, it's the playoff format where you win one race all year and you make the playoffs. So you could literally be 30. This happened last year. Our driver, Harrison Burton, was 34th in the point standings. He won Daytona, which is a crapshoot every single year, and he made the playoffs. So because of that, guys know they got to win to get in. If they have a chance and they're in the front late, they're going to make some crazy decisions, and that's going to lead to some wrecks. So I think a lot of it comes down to that playoff format, but to your point about the personalities, they have Full Speed, the Netflix show. It's just like Full Swing for golf. It
Oh,
just
right.
dropped on Netflix over the weekend, and it gives you sort of a look behind the scenes of some of the best drivers. And so you see their personalities come out there, but certainly we don't have the names anymore. Like everybody knew Dell Jr., everybody knew Jeff Gordon. I just mentioned Kyle Larson, and I don't know how many people necessarily even know that name for how talented he is.
Yeah. So the Bucs schedule will be released. What is it? Thursday? They doing it Thursday or is it Wednesday?
Well, the schedule thing is weird because, they're of course profiting off of all this stuff and making us wait. They're releasing games sporadically throughout the week. This morning, the first game was announced for Thursday, September 4th, Cowboys at the Eagles on Thursday night, September 4th on NBC.
That is going to be an ass whooping of prodigious.
It might be ugly. It might be ugly.
Yeah.
We even have some international games that have been announced already
Bucs are
as
not
well.
playing in Spain. No.
I don't think the Bucs are playing international, but Colts are going to host the Falcons in Berlin on November 9th. That's been announced. The Dolphins are going to host the Commanders in Madrid in Week 11.
Game, all right.
Jets hosting the Broncos in London in Week 6. I think those are the 4 games so far that have been announced.
We also seen a Brazil. Did I not see a Brazil on Twitter was open?
I believe there's a Brazil coming as well. So
yeah. Oh,
so
okay. Well, the Bucs. All right. So the Bucs home games this year are going to be obviously Falcons, Panthers, Saints, Cardinals, who will be improved. Seems like 49ers, who won't be improved. The Eagles, the Patriots, and the Jets. Those are your home games. So, will the Bucs open at home? Road games. Which road game are you going to? Rams, Seahawks, Lions, Buffalo, Dolphins, Texans. Well, the Dolphins is the easiest game to go to, obviously. But
I'm not going to that.
No, you don't want to go to L.A. Seattle's the one. Seattle, although
that'll be kind of fun. I mean, if you're that kind of person that wants to see the last year of, there's nothing crazy about the stadium necessarily, but it is an atmosphere. I've been once. You want to go up to Buffalo for the last? I think this is the last regular season in that Highmark Stadium.
Yeah.
So I don't know
what they call it now, Highmark Stadium.
Highmark Stadium, and now the new one that's being built, I think, is just called New Highmark Stadium. I think. But yeah,
these are some bad. You know, the old days, you look at the aways and you're like, "Ooh, I want to go to that city." I want to. It's like American cities now. Like, I don't want to go to any of them. Like, L.A. No. Although, I mean, you could go down to Orange County and stay in Laguna. Might not be bad. Seattle was an amazing city as well. Maybe still is.
That's a tough little trek there on the road for the Bucs.
Detroit, I want no part of that.
Like
Buffalo,
that's a tough little schedule on the road. It feels like a lot of travel. It sounds like, because you said L.A., Seattle, and Buffalo are on there.
Yeah.
And then even the teams they're playing, those are all like playoff caliber teams.
Yeah, Detroit on the road is going to be a tough win. Seattle is always a tough place to play, and they'll be decent. The Rams are rapidly improving, no question about that. They're a playoff team. Buffalo speaks for itself. The Dolphins, that's probably your easiest road game right there, other than the Saints, and then the Texans. Yeah, that's a tough road schedule. That is a really
because the home schedule doesn't sound too bad outside of Philly.
No, you say, games they'll be favored in. Atlanta, Carolina, I think they'll be favored in all 3, even though they lost to Atlanta twice last year. Cardinals at home, 49ers at home. Maybe not the Eagles, Jets, and Patriots. So you're going to be favored in 7 of 8 at home.
Yeah.
Right? And then on the road, now they got 9 road games this year, so that's also a little bit of if. All division games, I think they're going to be favored. Against the Rams, nope. Seattle, that's probably a toss-up. Detroit, nope. Buffalo, nope. Miami, yes. Texans, nope.
Depends where Houston is.
Yeah, depends on where they are, yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, the schedule matters, though, because with the length of the trips to L.A. and Seattle, how they are juxtaposed within the schedule will matter. Short weeks will matter as well. But you don't want a cold weather game in Buffalo. You don't want that. You don't want anything in December in Buffalo. That would be a no. Early season Miami is no different than early season here. So you don't want a 1:00 game. Like, I would love for the Miami game to be a Sunday night game. That would be good. Or a Thursday night game. Could be a Thursday night game. Be nice. So it's the juxtaposition of the schedule that I look for. Like all these, the schedule leaks and all that stuff really don't. I know the games are being played, so I'm not like, Dallas, Philly, the week one. Like, I thought it's going to be a competitive game.
Doesn't it? It sounds like, by the way, because it is the 50th anniversary, I have to assume that the folks over there, Brian Ford and whatnot, are already starting to. Sorry about that. Getting a phone call here. But I have to assume the folks, Brian Ford and whatnot, with the Bucs are already starting to put together some things, and I have to think they already have the schedule themselves. Just going off the home games, it sounds like if you're going to do some big celebration for the 50th year, doesn't it just have to be versus the Eagles? Like, is there any other franchise that the Bucs are more synonymous with in games, meaningful games that they've played than the Eagles? Like, that just has to be the one.
Ring of Honor game?
Ring of Honor game, or if they are so hell-bent on dragging out the creamsicles again, it just feels like it has to be that game if we're going to do it.
Well, you got the Patriots at home. So are you going to put Brady in the Ring of Honor in your 50th anniversary season? Get Fox to come do the game or whatever? And is that a thing? I
don't know. I forgot about Brady the broadcaster. I've already thought about Brady as the Raiders sort of shot caller, and I already forgot about Brady the broadcaster.
Yeah, I think that's still a thing. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Okay. So let's get back to Bucs fans. Like, can we win a game in the creamsicles? No,
we can't. No, we can't. And that's why I've woken up to it. Let's retire it.
Do you not have enough evidence? 14 years of evidence. I mean, do you not? And every time what are we 1-6 now?
Yeah, and it's not even like it's not even like they're competitive in that thing either. Like, they forget how to play football when they put on that thing.
I think it's just something about the color. It's just. It kind of puts you to sleep. I don't know. It's so nice and wonderful. You want a pina colada when you put on a creamsicle. It's like, it's hard to get fired up to play football when you look down and you're like, oh, so creamsicle. It just is. I don't know what it is. All right. I'll tell you what. Let's mix it up here and do a little bit of Rays, and then we'll come back to some of the other Buccaneer stuff in the second half of the show. So this team, now full disclosure, I did not watch a lot of the games. I went back and watched the highlights and did all my reading. So I didn't see a lot of this situationally. But they win Friday night, which is broke a 7-game home losing streak, and they do it with a walk from Taylor Walls. 0 for 11 during the game with runners in scoring position. And you get a walk to win the game against the Brewers with Taylor Walls taking an inside pitch. Now, there was a controversy earlier in the game. There was an interference call earlier in the game that was kind of weird, but a good call when the third baseman blocked the base, didn't have the ball, can't do that, and did not allow the picked off runner to get back. I mean, the base running is just as bad as the runners in scoring position is. The base running is just horrific. It's been terrible. Bad judgment, bad execution all the way around. That being said, they get the walk-off with Taylor Walls. It's a win. It's a W, but what a Rays way to win a game on Friday night.
I'm not going to ask any questions. Taylor Walls coming in. I don't care. At this point, any sort of – if Taylor Walls gets on base, it's a win. I don't even care how it is. And the fact that he got a walk in that moment – to give them,
he's been better offensively lately.
Yeah, he's been coming around a little bit. Yeah. I think he's actually JP. He's hitting 206.
Wow, he's up above the Mendoza line.
He's above the Mendoza line somehow. And again, for all the warheads out there, he's got a 1.6 WAR, which is second on this team.
How about
which
that?
Is crazy to think about. And not many players, by the way, have a positive WAR in that lineup. And Taylor Walls has a 1.6, but that's more to his defense. But yes, we are in May. We are in early May, and we are getting walk-off walks by Taylor Walls and walk-off hits by Travis Jankowski. Who would have thought?
You said my audio is low. Hopefully, maybe this will help. Hopefully, better now?
Yeah,
better now?
Better there, yeah.
Take it easy. I'll just jump up on this mic a little bit more. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate you saying that. Yeah, it's and Saturday they get another win. They win 2 in a row. Travis Jankowski, 33-year-old Travis Jankowski, who we took off the White Sox AAA. You can't even say that out loud without laughing.
It's crazy.
But he gets his first walk-off. He said like he never even had one back in T-ball. Like he's first walk-off in major leagues of 700 at-bats. Well, good for him. Got the hit, went the opposite way through the hole, and they pick up another win. Well, that was 3-2, I think is where was that 3-2?
Grinding out victories, 3-2.
Grinding out wins, and that was our first rain delay. If you were at the game, I wonder where do people go when it rains? Do they all huddle underneath the overhang? Like where is there enough
big white tent they built out there in the concourse?
Is there a big enough place for you all to huddle when you get out of the rain? Interesting, but so you got your ponchos, you got your first rain delay. I'd say we're almost halfway through May, and this is our first rain out. That's not too bad. 27 games in, 26 sellouts.
Like both games, the last 2 games were both delayed, but like it was delayed by what, 30 minutes, 45 minutes? It wasn't anything crazy. I'm sure there's going to be some more trouble as they go forward and we get into the summer, but there's not many home games in the summer. So they've been really fortunate that it really hasn't been an issue necessarily. But it was kind of weird. Yesterday, I tuned into the game. It was raining when the game started. And I was like, this is really weird. I'm watching a Rays home game, and there is actual rain falling right now.
I know, right?
It was really weird.
So, and now yesterday they lose 4-2, and Junior Caminero, it's weird. I got to tell you, especially a guy like Dwayne Stats, who's probably called, 10,000 home runs in his career.
Yeah.
When a guy like that sees something come off the bat and starts the home run call, and he's probably, at least in the times I've watched it, done this 10 or 15 times this year, and the ball just dies in left field. I don't know what the hell is going on.
It's always with Junior. Junior should have like 12 home runs right now.
It's unbelievable how that ball dies. I mean, and I've watched a lot of baseball in my life, and you see it come off the bat, and a guy like Junior, if he gets it on a sweet spot, and it's at a certain launch angle, you're like, oh, and you hear it. You hear
the velocity that he's swinging, like
and it just dies in left field. Yeah, then that was a potential 3-run homer that fell just short again in left field. It is beyond bizarre what's going on in left field. Junior, you got to start taking them the other way. You look at Rasmussen gave up 2 home runs opposite field. It's weird. This stadium, you just get it up in that jet stream if you're a right-hander and let it, ride the wind, and it's going out. If you try to hit it out to left field, it's weird. It just dies out there. I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's bizarre, beyond bizarre. But for the series, the Rays were 3 for 24 with runners in scoring position. Romano did a column on this. It said Diaz, Lowe, and who else? The biggest hitter in the 0 for 5 runners in scoring position yesterday, 3 for 24 with runners in scoring position. I mean, it's beyond brutal how bad this team has been situationally, and that's something that they tried to work on during during spring training. And look, it's again professional hitters. We've seen them over the last few weeks come in here. The big boppers, the Judges, the Harpers, the Schwarbers. These guys know how to hit with runners in scoring position. It's a matter of talent. It's a matter of professionalism. It's experience, and the Rays just don't have that up and down the lineup. They're easy to pitch around because there's so many holes in the lineup, and that's why they've been so bad.
Yeah, it's to the point where Junior Caminero is 21 years old, and he's by far the scariest guy in that lineup to face. But outside of him, it's Jonathan Aranda has sort of started to elevate into that category. He just continues to just hit the ball. He's hitting it the opposite. He's hitting opposite field stuff too, which is great. They've given him a little bit more run against lefties, and he's starting to pick up hits there too. Shocker. Just play your best player, so I don't care who you're facing. But yeah, there's some other guys in this lineup that are really just, I don't know. It's like Christopher Morel. I've seen enough to know that this guy's just he's just not a good Major League Baseball player. And he's 100.
He doesn't look like a good baseball player. Everything he does is awkward. He doesn't look smooth. He does and when he's at the plate, his discipline is terrible.
Oh, I mean,
every time
I was just going to point it out.
100 miles an hour.
He's got 100. He's got 103 at bats this year, and he has struck out a team high 45 times. 45 strikeouts and 103 at bats, man. Like,
how do you stay on a major league roster with that? Back in the day, you just can't strike out that much. You just can't. How is this guy still on a major league roster?
I know he's got big home run power potential or whatnot, but again, in his Rays career, where's he at with the Rays? He's had 83 games, 306 plate appearances, and he's hit 6 home runs while striking out 101 times and hitting 203.
Yeah. And
this is the guy that was the big piece of the trading the all-star third baseman in Isak Paredes for. Yeah. I'm over Morel. I don't think it's ever going to happen. It's not like he's like 22, 20. He's 26 years old. He's had enough time in the majors to figure this out, and he's going backwards with the Rays. And then the other player, much talked about on this show for his inconsistencies, and that's Brandon Lau, who is hitting 190 this year for the Rays. 190. He's hanging out he's hitting 190. He's hanging out with the Curtis Meads of the world. He's hanging out with Danny Jansen. Taylor Walls officially has a higher batting average this year than Brandon Lau, if you can believe it.
That's unbelievable.
And this is supposed to be the guy that's the big bopper right in the middle of your order.
Yeah, with the short porch in right field.
Yeah, and by the way, he's got 5 home runs. He has 1 double this year. That's his only other extra base hit.
Yeah.
And this is the guy that you're telling me is this is the guy in the middle of the order, right? He's supposed to be the big bopper. He's not doing anything right now.
Well, and you went into the season saying, okay, Josh Lowe and Brandon Lau are going to be our big left-handed hitters in this short porch in Steinbrenner Field. How many we got out of those 2? 5 home runs and 1 double out of those 2. That's it.
It's just not good enough. I can't. And how can people accept that? And they all they tell me is Brandon Lau always struggles early in the season. He'll figure it out. It's like, will he? He's 30 years old. He's had injuries. I don't know.
There's been way more bad than good with this guy. Way more bad than good. No.
We can hang our hat he hit 39 home runs one year. And it's when was that? That was 2021.
Christopher Cole says Junior's hitting the ball too high.
The swing is getting a little long for him right now, if I have to say. He's got to find a way to adjust. But he's still he's still the least of my worries, though. I will say this: they tried to put him at first base this weekend, and that was a travesty. Yeah. So that's not a first baseman.
That's not a thing. No. He says Mike H says I like Jankowski to stay.
I don't know. They've.
Can we not just do better than career minor leaguers?
Can you believe they have quite literally, JP, put out 2 completely different starting outfields already in 30-something games? They have literally started the season with what? Lowe, Morel, and who am I missing? DeLuca. Yeah. They started with all those guys, and then it became Meisner, Magnum, and those dudes, sort of Meisner's cooled off a bit. Magnum's on the IL. Palacios is on the IL. Lowe's on the IL. Everybody's on the IL. And now it's Jankowski. It's Chandler Simpson. It's they have – how many outfielders? I think I just named 9 outfielders who have played for the Rays so far this year.
And none of them are any good, by the way. None of them. Mike H says, I just like Morel's face paint. Have you seen this face paint, what's going on with this? I don't sound like – get off my lawn guy, but now we're covering our whole face in this, it's all the way down our face, the eye black, the face.
He's got Kevin Kiermaier syndrome. Is that what's happening here?
Golly. Do you see what's going on in college baseball? See the end of the Vandy Tennessee game. There was a clip this weekend from some guy on Texas that was just screaming and yelling at the pitcher, talking trash back and forth. What the hell's going on in college baseball? I know it means more in the SEC.
I thought it was entertaining.
I need to calm the hell down.
I thought it was kind of entertaining.
At some point, though, my God, I guess baseball's so boring. Maybe we need
more personality in the game. We need it.
Mike H says Aranda has pleasantly surprised me this year, and though the Rays are not that bad, they're bad. They're really bad. They're not the Rockies bad. How about the Rockies getting beat 21-0?
Oh my goodness, that was funny. Not funny, but Before that game, the Rockies owner came out and voiced support for Bud Black, and then they lost 21-0, and then he was fired the next day.
How could the owner say anything when you put it together a team like that?
That's what I'm saying. They're not even trying.
Yeah, come on.
7 win. They're 7-33.
Yeah. Mm.
And you see they had 35,000 people in the stands, by the way, for that 21-0 game. 35,000 people are still showing up to the ballpark.
Yeah. Yeah, I haven't looked at the Rockies payroll, but I'm guessing it's not
high.
No. And they make money. They make a ton of money.
It's a great ballpark. It's a great ballpark. You're in a great
ballpark.
city. I think you
great
have
weather.
Great uniforms. I feel like the Rockies have everything, but for the majority of my lifetime, they have been horrible.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they should have a huge payroll with the money that way they pack that ballpark, because they come from all over. I mean, it's incredible how much people drive to go to that ballpark. Michael LaRue says, so Ybor Gasworks is out, but what about Ybor Harbor? Is downtown Tampa still in play for the new stadium? I'd heard Daryl Shaw went on a podcast and said Ybor Harbor is still available. And that's his plot of land. So, and he's also the one that does Gasworks as well. So if maybe they've already selected Ybor Harbor or Ray J or Fairgrounds. I know that they are working behind the scenes. There's still meaningful talks going on. You're not going to see everybody's like, what's going on? The dream. And I know Brody's making, if I get one more freaking comment about Brody Brazil making a video, the dreamers are doing what they do. I think there was a, Daniel Rivera had something in here. I think it was really good. There's a lot of talk about this. Obviously, there's a lot of videos going on, but there's no public support. Jerry Demings said in the Orlando Business Journal, I am not willing to put taxpayer dollars or taxpayer land into play without seeing the type of ROI that would make sense from a financial perspective. Yeah. I mean, where is the ROI return for – Disney built a beautiful ballpark, and they couldn't keep the Braves or the Marlins in spring training. This idea that 70 million people visit the Orlando area and they're all going to go to a baseball game is ridiculous. The people come for theme parks. They're not coming for Major League Baseball. Most of these people are coming from other places that either have baseball teams or Europe or other places like that around the world that are not, they don't even know what Major League Baseball is. Major League Baseball is not, it's very big in Latin America. Yes, baseball is, but elsewhere in the globe, not so much. Nobody really knows. Nobody cares. So the Orlando thing, it is what it is. I'm glad that they're having a good time with it, and they've got some private people stepping up, but that stuff is meaningless. Anybody can pledge $1.5 billion when it doesn't cost them anything. So you can come up with renderings and you can do all these things. I know this, there are serious people with serious money that live in Tampa that want to get this deal done and build the stadium in Tampa. This we know. We know Major League Baseball has told the players, there is a solution in Tampa Bay, just hang on. It's coming. Rob Manfred has said a gazillion times, Tampa Bay is the market, not Orlando. He could easily say Orlando. It's not what he said. And Chris Lopola brings up a great point. Evidently, they have not given Stu Sternberg the ability or the permission to speak to other markets, or he would be making the tours around all these expansion cities. So that's not in play either. Why? Because there are things going on behind the scenes. Just because it's not in the front of your Twitter page or anywhere else doesn't mean there aren't things going on. So all I can tell you is be patient, and hopefully at some point Stu Sternberg will get off whatever his ridiculous asking price is, and they'll get this deal done. Let's hope. Again, there are no guarantees. All I can tell you is there are buyers in place. They want to buy the team for a reasonable price, more than it's worth, considerably more than it's worth, and they have the ability, the connections, the want to get the stadium done on the Tampa side. So, again, it's all up to one dude. Same thing we've been dealing with for 15 years. One guy holding up expansion, holding up development in Tampa, holding up development of the Trop site, holding up everything for greed is what it is. All right. Any other? Dylan London says we are pretending like the Rays are staying in Tampa area. Orlando has so much more positive movement. Like you people? I mean, so what do they have? A bunch of Brody Brazil videos, some renderings, and people saying they want to put money in for a baseball team. I can give you 20 cities that have that. They're just not getting as many Brody Brazil videos. I don't know what to tell you. There's no, where is their have they made a vote for public money? Portland has. Y'all should be talking more about Portland than you are Orlando. You just heard from Demings. There's no public money being allocated. And so 1.5 billion. Okay, you're about 2.5, 3 billion short. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Has Rob Manfred come out and said, "Oh, Orlando's the spot"? No, he said Tampa Bay's the spot. So what do you really have? You have some articles being written. You have some beautiful renderings of a stadium that nobody's put a penny down for. Public land has not been allocated. Public money has not been allocated. What do you have? You have a bunch of promises. I don't know what to tell you. Give me something. Give me something positive. Give me something concrete. Oh, am I missing something?
I mean, I don't know who has what at this moment, to be honest with you. It seems like everything's just sort of like.
Daniel Rivera says, JP, I trust what you say. You are to me, and I've seen all the great ones come through this town over the years, but the most trusted voice in Tampa Bay area when it comes to sports. It's been a while, yeah. We've been doing this for a while. I'm not always right, but I've been right on a lot of things. I told you that stadium in Tampa in St. Pete wasn't going to be built, and you all said it was. GRTP says we're talking about projects that have not yet been publicized. Yeah, and they have John Morgan talking. Yeah, that's new or not. And John Morgan, by the way, I haven't seen the whole video, but somebody told me he didn't even know that the Rays weren't playing at the Trop. He still thought the Trop was being used. So, I mean, if you're that much in the know, which is not much, what are you really saying?
Well, I'll say this. I mean, at the end of the day, whether it's a realistic possibility or not, if the Rays had to relocate, I could think of worse places as selfishly than Orlando. I'll put it that way.
Yeah. Dylan London says Orlando has Morgan and Morgan and Brody Brazil on payroll. Tampa got nothing. I don't know. Is that a joke or is that like something positive?
Who is? See, I haven't kept up with this guy as much. Who is? I see this every show I'm on. He's always mentioned this Brody Brazil. Who is this Brody Brazil? He works for the Sharks. He used to work for the A's, I think, Oakland A's. He does these very professional, very well executed videos, and it's none of it is original reporting. It's all rehashed stuff from me or other articles. And I don't mean this in a pejorative way. He does a great job. He's cited my stuff. He's cited everybody's stuff. He does a great job citing stuff. But there's no real original reporting here, except for I guess he had John Morgan. I don't know. I don't watch them. I've watched a few of them, and they're all rehashed stuff. So I'm like, I don't have time for it. So, yeah, he keeps talking about Orlando because he keeps getting clicks from you guys. I'd be doing it too if I were him. Every time he does a Rays video, he gets clicks. That's how he makes money. And the more he talks about it, the more you guys think it's momentum. It's a video. It's a YouTube video. There's nothing. I mean, that's all it is. Rehashing, putting up pretty renderings, and and Bianchi writing articles about. He's been writing articles about baseball coming to Tampa, to Orlando for 30 years. It's never. I don't until Rob Manfred says, "Hey, Orlando's a player," and until somebody from the city council or the mayor says, "Hey, we're going to allocate $400 million to this new stadium, and here's the vote." I mean,
what do you got?
Yeah, and I don't recall Rob Manfred also pushing this hard like he is now for this to stay in Tampa Bay than like he was at all for what happened in Oakland. I don't recall that being a thing either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I mean, people, I get the old refrain, well, Tampa doesn't have any money. That's not true. That's completely false. That's completely false. St. Pete's also always had more money, but you saw how that worked out. Just having money to give doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen or it's a good idea. So let's just cool the jets. Do you guys want me to just keep put out a bunch of videos every day talking about what's going on in Tampa? And if we put out 6 videos every day, does that mean we have momentum? I'd say just chill. Let the big money people do work behind the scenes. That's where it gets done. Nobody's it's not the way it goes now, folks. So let's just let Orlando, let the dreamers dream. That's great. They can have fun with it. And if they want to get in bed with Stu Sternberg, have at it. But I can tell you this: Major League Baseball owners have no desire whatsoever to put a stadium in Orlando. That's not. That baseball has talked about Tampa Bay market. It's a bigger market. It's 30 years invested in the fan base. It's got deep pocket owners that want to buy the team that are based in Tampa. You have the commissioner telling the team there's a solution in Tampa Bay. Don't worry, chill out. I don't know what to tell you. I am not dissing Brody at all. He's doing smart things. He's putting out that stuff that you guys love to consume, and that's good. Good for him. I'm happy for him. But where's the beef, as the old lady said? Where's the beef? I don't see it. John Morgan, has he written a check? Has he? I don't know. Maybe. Has this guy Workman? Has he written a check? Has he bought the land? Has he is construction underway? Has the city put in any money? I don't know. As far as I know, that's a big no. It's a big no. All right, let's take another break. When we come back, we're going to get back to the Bucs rookies. We're going to hear from David Walker and Tez Johnson, who's a lot of fun. Another one of these young men who's a lot of fun. So we'll do some more. And we'll talk a little bit about Shilo Sanders as well. I thought he had a really, really good camp. Very impressive young man. Good stuff from Shilo Sanders. I didn't think he was going to make this team, at least at 53. I still don't. But I think he's going to stick around on the practice squad and then maybe find his way in. So we'll see. We're brought to you by the great folks at On-Site Construction. On-Site Construction FL is the website. They also do restoration. So if you need some restorative work done at your home, they can do that. If you need to build from scratch, they can do that. You want to do an add-on, they can do that as well. OnSiteConstructionFL.com. In business for over 25 years, over 1,400 jobs done locally. Go to their website, see all the cool stuff they have. They got some great pictures of their fantastic work. You can see all the 5-star reviews as well. OnSiteConstructionFL.com. Back in 3.
Hey, JP here for my concierge medical professional, Chris Lugo, PA. You've heard him on the show for a couple of years where he shares invaluable medical, nutritional, and supplement advice. With Chris, it's like having a medical provider as your best friend. What I love about this concierge service is the convenience and support he offers. I can text or call him 24/7 with any questions or concerns, and he'll promptly call in a prescription if needed. No office visits or copays required. It gives me peace of mind knowing I have someone genuinely invested in my health, not just focused on insurance profits. And the best part, the Bay Area Modern Medical Center's personal concierge service is more affordable than you might think. Don't let insurance companies dictate your health care. Take control of your health and wellness today. Visit BAMMC.com for more information and to schedule your initial free consultation. Empower yourself and take charge of your personal health with BAMMC.com. JP here for the Gold and Diamond Source. You know, we told you about the amazing Diamond Savings Account where your diamond never loses its value. Well, now, through the end of May, the Gold and Diamond Source will double your trade-in value up to $2,500. Just bring in your jewelry to trade, and your $2,500 piece turns into $5,000. It's time to upgrade that ring, earrings, whatever. We have gemologists on site to make the deal. Double your trade value up to $2,500. Gets you $5,000 to spend. So go through your jewelry box and get that stuff you never wear and get something new and stylish that you're going to love. Great experience, and we will double your trade-in now till the end of May. We can finance you as well. No interest for 5 years. Only at the Gold and Diamond Source, 3800 Ulmerton Road. Always online at goldanddiamond.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. Hey, Tampa Bay, it's time to get your AC unit ready for summer. And here at Third Generation Plumbing and Mechanical, we recommend getting ahead of the game, keeping your family cool before the hot summer months with one of our maintenance agreements in the hopes of avoiding the dreaded emergency service call. Our maintenance agreements include, we'll test the electrical components, check and tighten high and low voltage wire connections. We'll check the refrigerant for manufacturer's performance levels, test thermostats, calibrate if needed, clean the evaporator coil and condenser coil, and clear and treat the drain line and drain pans. Just call us at 813-961-8024 for the special rates, and a human will actually answer. 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Cafe Paradiso. Got a special occasion coming up, graduations all over the place. Head on over to Cafe Paradiso, or just want to go out for a great Italian meal. According to Sal Palantonio, who knows a little bit about Italian food, Cafe Paradiso is the best Italian restaurant in Tampa. So head on over there, see my good friend Paolo Tini. Tell him JP sent you, and have the chicken marsala. Fantastic, or the veal parmesan. Traditional Italian dishes are the branzino or the salchicha. Oh, so good. Absolutely fantastic. Cafe Paradiso right there on South McDale, just north of Gandy. All right. Are you going to get back to football?
Let's do it.
So I'm perusing. I got to do this, though, real quick. So I'm perusing Twitter as I do on during the breaks. And there's a Shedeur Sanders post. Did you see this one?
There's a lot of Shedeur Sanders posts.
A picture of him and all his mates. Right
nice.
Yeah, nice. Who's not in the picture? The only rookie not in the picture? Dylan Gabriel.
Oh, really? You see the reporter that they spoke to him for the first time, and the reporter mouthed to the rest of the media I'm taller than him.
Yeah.
I was like, okay.
With Dylan?
Yeah.
It was funny because typically what happens is someone will come up to test the mics, a reporter will walk in front of the bank of microphones, and just so people can frame up their shots and see if the audio works. And there's and they'll say something, goes, "I'm taller than him." Yeah, well, you probably are.
Okay, buddy.
But Shedeur, I guess, wrote this. He said, "Thankful for every player a part of our mini camp, apart, APART, one word. Great relationships was made during our time together." It's good. Nice little sentiment there.
You got a point there?
Thankful for every player apart, APART, the one word should be two words apart. Great relationships was made during our time.
So you're the grammar police now.
Come on, man. Anybody proofreading this stuff? I know we all make mistakes, typos and stuff like that, but
if Mike Evans put out a post like that, would you be checking him right now?
Mike Evans wouldn't put out a post like that.
Oh, there you go. Okay.
I have to check him. Come on, man. Yeah, there's.
Maybe we should talk about his brother, the one who is wearing for right now is wearing pewter and red.
Yes, Shilo. I thought he looked quicker, faster. I thought he looked extremely athletic, more so than what I saw on tape. I was very, very pleased. And he walked into the media room. I wasn't there on Saturday, but he walked in and he shook the hands of every media member. Said, "Oh, this is my media team," which is interesting. And he was very impressive, very respectful. Everybody said he was extremely respectful. You know, he's older than Shador, and I think he's a lot more mature than Shador. And the fact that he went and played at South Carolina and then hasn't played for his dad his entire career, I think was really, really, really good for him. Really good for him. And he signed a 3-year deal, $2.9 million contract. I think the Bucs, Todd Bowles said some very nice things. He was very communicative. Said he was loud. He was communicative. He took charge. All good stuff. So, I don't think Shiloh's athletic enough to be a great safety in this league. I don't know if he showed a lot of great instincts in his time at Colorado. I think he had 1 interception. Misses a lot of tackles. The tape is not great. That's why he wasn't drafted, quite frankly. So I wish him the best, though. I really do wish him the best. I think he's, the Bucs brought him here for a reason, and maybe he can make a mark on special teams. Who knows? There's been a lot of defensive backs that don't get drafted that make it in this league. So I think it's definitely a position of need.
I mean, he's playing. I was going to say he's playing a position where if an undrafted player is going to stick on this roster,
absolutely,
it's probably going to come from that position. I mean, think of it like this: Kayvon Merriweather has made this team. 2 years in a row, or was he a rookie last year? I forget. But he's been on this team and played meaningful snaps. Not great meaningful snaps, but he's played meaningful snaps nonetheless. So it's like
Ryan Neal played snaps for this team.
Yeah, right. The bar's pretty low. The bar's pretty low back there next to Antoine Winfield Jr. So yeah, I think he's got an outside shot. I think it was telling that the Bucs, they were the first team that reached out to him, and he didn't even hesitate. He jumped on the opportunity.
I think he reached out to the Bucs actually.
I think it was Rosenhaus who put out the messages first.
Yeah, and he wanted to go to Tampa. And I think the Bucs were, sure, come on, do it.
Yeah,
come on over. We'll see what.
And my goodness, I mean, every time I saw a video of him this week that was put out by any reporter there, on the field or when he was in the interview room, was it the other day? Man, you talk about the interaction on all the posts. Anytime you post about Shilo Sanders, there's a publicity factor there that he brings. But he's going to be judged as a player. I mean, he's 25 years old, so he was one of the older players in this year's draft class. And, if he was a really good player and a really good prospect, he would have been in the league by now. That's sort of like that's the truth about this. But I think because of the position he plays, if he could stick on special teams or something he'll have a shot. It seems like he's ready to come into work. He said all the right things. And for what it's worth, I mean, everybody talked about the impression he made where he walks in and he shakes every member of the media's hand. He's not the only player to do that this weekend, actually. I saw Jackson Dart did it too. Some other players. I sort of like this. I kind of like this little trend that I'm seeing with the younger players coming into the league. There's a respect factor there, obviously. And I know there's some, distrust a lot between players and media and whatnot. And it's been like that for a while. But, that was something. He's very comfortable, obviously, standing in front of a camera and talking. But he didn't come off a bad way whatsoever. He actually came off pretty well. And if he was the most vocal player out there on the field and he plays a position where you have to talk and you have to be sort of like the quarterback of the defense, I think safety is one of those positions. I think by all means, he's going to get a fair shot to contribute.
I agree. And I wish him the best. He really, I thought he did a great job with the interviews. He handled it well with his teammates, all that. Look, it's not easy when you're under the spotlight like that. And a lot of his brother's shenanigans are going to kind of be attributed to you, and that's not fair to him. It's not fair to him at all because I think they're two very, very different young men and different players, obviously, at different levels. So, and he'll get an absolutely fair shot here. And if he's good enough, he'll make it. If he's not, it's not. His name will have absolutely nothing to do with it. Not here. Not in this organization. That's not how this organization works. Bucs Rays Bolts wants the Lions game to be on Thanksgiving. Do you like? I don't. We've had a couple of Bucs. They think they played on Thanksgiving twice. I'm going to watch football that day anyway. I don't think I want it to be a Bucs game, and it messes up your schedule. Short week.
Yeah, it's really hard. Even I watch football on Thanksgiving, but it's more in a passing way. Like I'm not like just sitting in front of the TV the entire time because I just can't.
Yeah, because if it's a Bucs game, it's a work day for me. So absolutely, I'd rather it not be. But I understand from a fan's perspective, though. I wonder what you guys think. Would you like to see the Bucs? I mean, you get a lot of
I didn't like it. I didn't like it when the Bucs played on Christmas Day in 2022.
No, I don't.
I gotta be honest. I'll be completely honest. That game they played the Cardinals, I think it was, in Arizona, 8:30 start time on Christmas Day. That's a day where like you wake up early and you're like usually running around doing a lot of things.
Yeah.
By the time we got to the game, like I fell asleep during that game. Like I tapped out. I couldn't make it.
Yeah, at Christmas, there's too much going on. I don't want a Bucs game to be, because it's going to be front and center. You're going to be thinking about that, or unfortunately for your kids and everybody. Bucs game's on. Shut up, Daddy.
No, literally.
Yeah, right. It's
literally, I don't want your dry turkey right now. I gotta watch Baker Mayfield throw the football. I mean, that's typically what it would come down to.
Yeah. Every time Brody posts about Orlando, JP needs to post about Tampa, or we risk losing the team to Kissimmee and John Morgan. I can't tell if Dylan's being serious or not. I think he's tongue in cheek. Are you, Dylan? Just make sure you tell me that.
No, I think
if you're being serious,
I think you're being trolled in the comments today.
You think?
Yeah.
So he's not being serious, right? He can't be. I mean, if he's trying to troll me, I mean, that's funny. It's funny. It's like, it doesn't matter what we say. I'm sitting here telling you, I report to you what I know, okay, and what people have told me behind the scenes, what I can and cannot say. But if I did a video every day, do you think there's a better chance of it staying in Tampa? No. Is there just like if Brody puts out, you think if Brody puts out 1,000 videos that it's somehow going to magically happen in Orlando, even if they don't have the money or don't want to spend the public money? No, none of this stuff. It's just, you guys are going crazy about this stuff, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we say. What matters is what Rob Manfred says. That's what matters. What matters is that Stu Sternberg sell the team because he can't get a deal done in Tampa or St. Petersburg. Rob Manfred asked Stu Sternberg for a plan, 3 months ago? Has he come out with one? No, because there's things going on behind the scenes. So I don't know what to tell you. You guys get all excited about these videos, and I'm not dissing him or Morgan and John Morgan. It's just a lot of show. It's a lot of show pony, I don't know. Thomas Casper says all-inclusive single-game tickets start at $59. First base rooftop, located down the right field line, is the only all-inclusive single-game ticket space in the ballpark. Is this new? Is this new, Thomas? I thought they sold all those out. Is there? The Rays just emailed me all-you-can-drink tickets. Well, they know who to market to, Thomas.
All right, go back to the other comment then. Now that I know what he said. I got it. There it is. All inclusive single game tickets start at $59. First base rooftop located down the right field line. Interesting.
Yeah, that's a bargain right there.
I will say, getting into the stadium buying tickets has actually been a lot easier. If you go through, it's weird I'm saying this. If you actually go through Ticketmaster and SeatGeek and StubHub and all these secondary sites, tickets are pretty cheap to get in now.
Yeah, I think they all got purchased at season ticket levels. And then now everybody's I think a lot of ticket brokers jumped in on the Rays.
Yeah.
They bought up all the tickets.
Yeah. And I wish, it's been kind of, I don't know. I was watching like the games this weekend. And even they're playing the Brewers. And I know that we're, a transient, city and there's fans from all the other teams, but I guess I just like the Brewers. Like I was looking around the stadium on the TV, and like I don't know how many Brewer fans there were in attendance, but I did see like a solid amount of like Brewer fans there. And I'm like, I didn't realize we had this many Milwaukee Brewer fans in town. And it feels like every like road team they've played so far, like there is a good showing from those fans. It's been kind of interesting. I don't know.
Well, I think you'll probably get a lot of people. If you're a Brewers fan, you might want to. I think the experience, we've said this a million times, experience at this ballpark to see a major league game in this intimate environment is different. It just is. It hits differently when you walk in. I'm not saying there's not drawbacks. The lights are a problem, clearly. But to me, there's so many more positives. You get standing room only tickets for $20, hang out in the outfield, and my buddy's playing catch with Morel in left field. Dan Issa, friend of mine, he posted it.
Was he giving him any tips for at the plate? To be clear, you're a friend to Morel, not Morel to your friend.
Right. But I'm like, wow, that's cool. So there's a lot of cool things that you can do at this ballpark. It's easy in, it's easy out. It's I think it's spectacular. It's super fun.
I guess like what I was getting at is like do you think any of the charm is wearing off yet? I think what's made it difficult, honestly, is the fact that they have played, other than this weekend where they win 2 out of 3, you show up to Steinbrenner and there's shutouts like every other night. I think that's kind of made it difficult, but do you feel like it's losing its charm at all?
I don't feel like that. Like the newness is worn off already. Because
everything wears off eventually.
Right.
Like by the time we get to like the dog days of the season, it's just going to be like, all right, here we go.
Well, I think the worst part about it is the team is so bad and so unentertaining to watch. Like if balls were flying, if the home team were hitting as many home runs as a visiting team, I think there'd be a lot more jump to it, so to speak. I think there'd be a lot more. But I think there's a lot of buzz. They fill the stadium every freaking night. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. I hear a lot of people say, well, there looks like a lot of empty seats. I don't know about you, but when I go to a game, I don't sit in my seat the whole time. I can't. I'm like, I got to get up and walk around. And I think a lot of people do get up and walk around the stadium because you're not really missing much. You're still on top of the whole thing. I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't.
Yeah. By the way, Rick did check me here, and I have to admit, you're right. He said Nick is too young to have seen the old sombrero full of cheesehead. So you ever think like sometimes there's certain teams and you forget that fans of that team are also fans of a different team in that city? Like just like, oh wow, they're like, I don't know. I understand like Packer fans, yes, they take over Raymond James when they play here. Mm-hmm. And I guess I forget that Packers and Brewer fans are the same thing. So yeah, right. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. Oh, this is a good one here. Oh, I missed it. Sorry. Dylan said, JP, you should start a channel called JP Jamaica and talk about Tampa to rival Brody Brazil. Yeah, maybe you got something there. Yes, Rick, you are too young. I mean, Nick is too young for that. Bucs Rays Bolt says, this is awesome. Michael Jordan will be joining the NBA on NBC and Peacock as a special contributor. Makes his return to basketball. Michael Jordan going to be an announcer? Speaking of announcers, Nick has a big story to tell you guys.
Well, so Rich Eisen, Andrew Marchand at The Athletic reported today that Rich Eisen is returning to ESPN. He was there. He left in 2003 to go to the NFL Network. And similarly to how Pat McAfee's show operates, he still has creative control in licensing the show basically to ESPN, it sounds like. Mm-hmm. But there is also some rumblings about ESPN being in advanced talks for NFL Media, which obviously owns NFL Network. And they've discussed a direct-to-consumer service that is nearing its launch, which is where Rich Eisen could play a role. But I thought this was interesting because last night, if you were on Twitter, you saw Pat McAfee's post. You did not see this, so I'll pull it up here real quick. And he said, life's a book, each day being a page leading to the next. Phases of life come and go like chapters. Not every character job idea has to appear at every chapter. Don't be scared to end a chapter and start anew. You're going to have to do it eventually anyways. And always remember to check with the mirror every once in a while. Make sure your book is one that makes you happy. If not, change its direction. We have no idea when the final page is being written with no sequels. 'Tis our only chance at this thing here. I appreciate you all so much for everything. I'm living the dumbest book of all time, trying to figure out it all as I go, and put hashtag up to something season. So we got that last night from McAfee, which was pretty cryptic. And then this morning, Rich Eisen's show is coming to ESPN. So what's happening here?
Wow. So the Rich Eisen show was not affiliated with the NFL Network?
No, I think he's been on Roku.
Right.
Yeah, he's been on Roku, but obviously he does work for the NFL Network.
Right. I didn't know that. That's interesting.
It says, it's written here that his show is returning as part of its forthcoming direct-to-consumer offering. So I don't know if that means it's going to be like a typical ESPN show that you see during the daily lineup or what. So maybe it doesn't impact it at all, but I don't know. So
just replacing Pat McAfee.
I don't know.
I can't believe we talked about this, I think, last week. John Mamola, who now writes for Barrett Media, did a nice piece on all the shit that McAfee has done over the past. How long has he been with ESPN now? 3 years? I think he's
2 years now.
Yeah, in terms of like being a good corporate lackey, like most of the people have to be on that channel, he's not been. He has not played by the rules, so to speak. He's pissed off a lot of people. He's gone directly after Norby Williamson, I think it was, who got fired in the Pat McAfee power struggle. So, yeah, I think he's made a lot of waves, and I don't think the ESPN people are long for it, to be quite honest. And they gave him a lot of money.
Yeah, he signed a 5-year, $85 million deal with ESPN. But as far as I know, like, he's got the highest rated show on the network. I mean, if you watch the show, like, they do say and get away with things that you would not associate with ESPN airwaves.
No,
that's for sure. Especially when the show turns to ESPN Plus at 2 o'clock, from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. But I give Pat a lot of credit because look at you. He lands the biggest guest like in the sports world. Like he has an ability to attract, like, guys want to come on his show. And I think it's because Pat's a former athlete. When he interviews people, it's not like it's like one of those like really formal type settings. It's like a nice, fun conversation to have. Like the guy landed LeBron James. When do you ever see LeBron James do interviews on TV?
Long format.
Yeah, long format. It doesn't happen. And it was great, by the way.
LeBron comes on and just absolutely destroys ESPN's top paid.
Right. It was odd to watch, but at the same time, I couldn't like stop listening to it. It was great from that standpoint. But yeah, I still think a lot of people enjoy McAfee's show. I mean, you can argue maybe he's a bit overexposed at times on ESPN and in general, because he's got his hands in a lot of different things, but the guy's a hustler. There's no doubt about it. But Rich Eisen coming to ESPN, listen, I think we all sometimes we bemoan some of the programming on ESPN and some of the hosts and the things that are said and the outlandish narratives that are made up. Rich Eisen's not that guy. Rich Eisen is a legit, dude in this business who I think everybody has a lot of respect for what he's done. And he's one of I think he's one of the more, maybe not a founding member of ESPN on air, but he was obviously there for a large part of its boom. Yeah. So I think it'll be exciting for a lot of people.
I listen to him and watch his show a lot. And you want to talk about getting big guests from the entertainment world as well. He kills it. And I think he's super funny, like really funny. Just McAfee, when he first started, I loved it. I loved the shtick. I think it's just become played out. I think he's become a parody of himself. I think he tries to just do these outlandish, and it's a hard watch. The way he talks, the stream of consciousness way that he talks is really.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's meant. Like, I don't know how you can watch McAfee. Like me personally, like I can't sit there and watch 3 hours of Pat McAfee talk.
No.
Like it's not. I don't think it's meant to be that way.
No, I hate to say this, but like sometimes I think he's on some kind of drugs. Like, cause the way he talks, it's out there.
I don't know how he has the energy, because like he's doing that show 3 times a week, and then he's also
hanging out with Zelensky and Macron. That's what
he's also commentating on Monday nights for wrestling on Raw for 3 hours, and then he flies back and makes his show in Indianapolis on Tuesdays. Oh, and by the way, he just wrestled a match on Saturday at the pay-per-view and got the crap kicked out of him by Gunther. Chop fest. So this guy's like hustling all over the place. He's married. He's got a kid. I mean, I mean, I don't know how he does it. I really don't. But yeah, you could argue that maybe he's a little overexposed right now.
Yeah.
And I know you said you don't particularly are fond of him on game day either. I know that's
no. I think the shtick is just over the top. I'm all for shtick. I like it, but I don't know, man. And what do you guys think? I'd be interested to get your take on this. Like, what are the? It just doesn't. It seems just it's too much. It's over the top for college game day. It's like to me, college football, the players, the stories, they sell themselves. It's to me, it's so compelling. The rivalries, the stories, all of it. You don't need a clown. I don't think he's a clown.
I think he provides. I actually think in college game day. Hear me out, JP. Hear me out. Because I've gone to college game day before when it was at UCF, and I guess it's been 7 years now. And I was right there in the pit. It's like everybody's a college student that's basically all there. It's early in the morning. Like you've been out there since like from 9 you've been out there since like 9 in the middle of the night the previous day, camping out, waiting for this to come on. And then you get hit with Pat McAfee's adrenaline. Yeah. And he's turned up to 11. And that to me is like my favorite part of game day is the beginning. It's his first words because he'll spend 2 minutes just going on this little monologue where he's hyping up the crowd. And then he sings along with the crowd to whatever their fight song is or whatever. He's standing up on a chair. Like I find that very like highly entertaining, and it sets a tone for the show. And then usually it's a 3-hour show, so it's gonna even out, and you're gonna get the stories. It's gonna be college sports talk. But then they have the segment in the middle where it's the kicking competition. I think it's highly entertaining. I do. What I don't want to see is like now that this is going to be Lee's last broadcast, whichever game that's going to be week 1. I don't want to see Pat McAfee now doing headgear. Like that to me is where I'll draw the line. I don't want to see anybody else doing headgear. But I think
you make some good points, and I do like that too because like Desmond's not doing that, Herb Street's not doing that. Corso was kind of like the comic relief, but obviously he's not doing that type of energy level anymore. And Reese is the perfect straight man to all of it. So yeah, I think you kind of do. You do need somebody like that. But I don't know. You may be right. Because I think there would be.
Would you rather have Pat McAfee on the show, or would you rather go watch Big Noon and hear Urban Meyer and
Rob Stone's my boy. Love Rob.
Love Rob, but
they got their guy, Ingram.
Mark Ingram. Yeah, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he does all the Pat McAfee stuff. He gets everybody hyped. He does all that stuff. I like him better. I think he does that part better than Pat does. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little. Like I said, I used to be a huge McAfee fan, but I just think it's gone sideways with a lot of the stuff that's going on. I think he has a lot of pressure on him, and I think it kind of feels like he's trying to pander to a bunch of different masters. And whenever you try to do that, you're not authentic, and it goes awry. And that's my opinion anyway. All right, let's take another break, and then when we come back, I'm definitely going to get to these other Bucs interviews. We'll hear from David Walker and Tez Johnson as well.
When we come back, we got to talk about the hockey too. Got to talk about hockey because there's a certain team that's starting to run their mouth right now that I think is crazy. We got to dive into it.
Really?
Yeah, from last night. Got to get into it.
And the NBA has been very interesting. Very interesting.
There's one series in particular. I think we're on the same wavelength here.
Yes. Yeah. Very, very interesting. Some interesting personalities, some interesting play. A lot of cool stuff going on in the NBA as well. So we'll do that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. I hope you got your $500 gift card. Actually, today is the last day you can do it at the Gold and Diamond Source. Buy 500, get 500 free. That double gift card match there. Do that thing at the Gold and Diamond Source. Back in 3. Stay with us.
Ciao, Paolo Tini here, owner of Caffè Paradiso, voted number 3 People's Choice Award on Open Table. I want to thank all our loyal family of customers that have been enjoying our great traditional Italian dishes we make from scratch
every day. It's a great family story we're proud of. Our family moved from Rimini, Italy in 1984. My dad, Caesar, started Donatello, and that's where I got the start in the restaurant business. I started Caffè Paradiso on South McDill in 1995, and we've been there ever since. From our traditional ossobuco, a veal slow roast for 4 hours, to our daily fresh catch, the Gruppo Paradiso, with a piccata sauce and lobster claw meat, homemade pasta like lasagna, farfalle salchicha, which is a bow tie pasta homemade with fresh sausage. Hold on a minute, JP's favorite.
I love it.
So come and have a glass of wine with me on South McDill. Get a reservation on Open Table and see all our 5-star reviews. Ciao, see you soon at Paradiso.
Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans and huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucs play. We'll see you there. JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by Third Generation Plumbing. Need plumbing work done, AC, anything mechanical at your house, Third Generation Plumbing can get it done. Go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com to get all the contact information. They've got a great special going on right now for the summer to get your AC unit right. So go to their website, give them a call, tell them JP sent you. All right, let's get to a couple more of these interviews that I wanted to get to from Bucs rookie minicamp. Very interesting weekend there. Very high on this rookie class. I believe this is David Walker, your 4th-round pick out of Central Arkansas. Very interesting young man. Every summer has gone on missionary trips to a lot of different places, Guatemala, Panama, Philippines, all these places. Very, very spiritual young man. I just find him he's not a really big guy. Like when he walked in, I was like, wow. He's 6'1", 260, looks 250. Just not a big guy. But you turn on the tape and he's a monster. Now, Central Arkansas, obviously, but he did an incredible job at the Senior Bowl. I mean, he was, one of the top, just at the Senior Bowl, top 4 or 5 guys coming off the edge. And he was really, really impressive. And I think the Bucs got a steal in this guy as well. We're not going to find out until they line him up, but another impressive young man. Here's David Walker.
I wasn't really doing it for anyone else.
Oh, sorry, that's Ben Morse. I knew I was going to do that. Here we go.
Yeah, it's exciting. Just like you said, you got all pros in the room, and you got upcoming superstars, and it's good to just be in a room and absorb, learn, just get under those guys' wings and just learn from them.
Did you see things coming out in the media? Jason Light talking. Most excited to see you this weekend. Other people are calling you, one of the biggest steals in the draft. And what does that mean to have, not just the Bucs organization, but so many people look at you coming from a small school where you're not getting all that glitz and glamour to being the top in the draft?
Yeah, it was definitely a confidence booster. Just seeing guys like that just really invested in me, really trusting my work and what I do, and I'm just ready to get after it.
Speaking of confidence boosters, talk about your performance in the Senior Bowl and practice itself, what that was able to do for you.
Yeah. Going into it, man, I was excited just to compete. Like you said, I'm from the FCS. There's really some good talent there, but other people say it's not talent. But just going to the Senior Bowl and competing against the top guys that got drafted high, it was good. Each day I built on each day, and in the game it was just like practice. Just go out there and do what I always done.
David, I don't know if you saw the video when the Bucs picked your name. I don't know if you saw there how your position coach ran up and hugged the general manager, said this is how you win a Super Bowl, and smiles all over the room. What was your reaction seeing that? How they reacted?
Yeah, it was exciting. Like I said, man, just being in the NFL is a dream come true, and just seeing coaches really invested in me and really invested in the class that they drafted. It's exciting.
But when your position coach says that's how you win a Super Bowl.
Oh, that's right. That's how you do it.
Heavy expectations, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it is. But I won't take it like that. The room is stacked. I'm gonna go in and learn from these guys, and hopefully I can contribute the best way I can.
That is David Walker. Again, these aren't groundbreaking answers. I just want to give you guys a feel for what they look like, what they sound like. All very impressive young men. Here's another one from Ben Morrison talking specifically about his hip injury, I believe this is.
Just the year that I had last year. Going into the year, understanding that I was one of the top corners, and then you get injured, and then you feel like you're forgotten about, and then there's so many things behind closed doors that many people don't know that I had to go through last year with just uncertainty of my hip, the combine process, all that stuff. So it honestly felt like a lot of people gave up on me, and I'm still a kid in the day. I'm growing up, so I still have to have those growing pains. So it was tough. By the end of the day, God doesn't make mistakes. Landed at the right spot, and it kind of validated it. So when I walked through the doors that this is the place I'm supposed to be at. My mom was like, "You're on a mission. God's seen you here for a reason, and go attack it."
Can you explain what exactly it is?
Asked to explain exactly what type of injury
the
it is.
Itself, I was bilateral. I found out when I was young, I needed to get it done. We waited for my growth plates to close. But honestly, it wasn't the injury that was the hard. It was mainly just the mental stuff. The rehab is rehab. It's you attack it every single day. You're going to get 100%. It is what it is. So the biggest thing is just the mental aspect of it. The physical is what we do every single day. I feel like we're warriors. We can go through stuff like that, but just the mental aspect.
When you look at this,
so it's interesting. This injury, and it's not like he broke his hip or there's a torn tendon in his hip. It's I'm not going to be here to tell you I know what bilateral means, but I know it's kind of a congenital defect that needs to be corrected, and it is. And I think just watching him move out there, he looked fantastic, looked great, looked very smooth. Again, I tell you this all the time. It's one of the reasons I like going out there and watching the players with my own eyes. The elite players just move differently, and he does. And Jacob Parrish very much similar. Ibuka, very smooth route runner. Very a disciplined route runner. Very soft hands. You watch him receive the ball. It's just different. You see some guys fight the ball when they catch it, and other guys it's effortless for them. And he looks like one of those cats. And when you watch the tape,
I could point to you a few guys who it seems like they're fighting the ball out there when they play. When they play, it's like you want to review the tape from the last 2 years in the Bucs secondary. I could find it for you.
Yeah, it is.
But I also like, though, you can put David Walker up there. I think it's pretty telling. Like after the year he had in 2022, where he's the ASUN Defensive Player of the Year with 66 tackles, 21 tackles for loss, and 12 sacks. And then even in 2023, 57 tackles, 18 tackles for loss, 8.5 sacks. It's like, you don't think like at some point this guy could have jumped into the portal and gone to a big program? And it never happened. And he stayed at Central Arkansas. And my goodness, I mean, it's pretty telling to me. Like at some point, I think he actually had an answer about that in some interview.
I asked him about it. He said, it was part of it was legacy. He was 10 sacks away from the career record at Central Arkansas, and he wanted to be a guy that was remembered there and stayed there the whole time and maybe come back to coach there. The loyalty part really, really stood out. So he's a very interesting guy. Mike said these guys are uninspiring. Yeah, I kind of like they're not jumping up and doing the rah-rah stuff. They really aren't. And I like that. They're all business. I know it depends on what you like, I guess. I like guys that are all business and don't need to hype themselves up. Now there's Tez Johnson. He's a little bit more entertaining. I'll give you some Tez here. 7th round pick from.
I don't know if people really know that guy from North Carolina. But if you watched him,
Bucky's old teammate at Oregon.
He was elite back there at punt return. So I watch him a lot back there at punt return.
He's talking about saying the punt return job is his.
Because me, when I started off at college, that's where I started at. I didn't start off at receiver. That was my home. That's what I was comfortable with, and I always been comfortable with it. I never played a single game that I went at the end of it. I never played receiver, or punt returner. I played both. I always played both. The reason why I say it's mine is because I'm just different at it. I understand it more. I understand the rules of it. I understand the scheme of it, and it's just something I take to the heart. It's what I started off at, and that's where I got my first shot in college at. So it's pretty much mine.
Yeah, AKA I watched Trey Palmer for this team last year, and it's mine. It's mine.
Cam Johnson, I guess, is probably his main. Because he was going to be the guy. He was going to be the punt returner last year, and I don't know what his status is. I think he's still on the roster, and he may be one of those guys fighting for that receiver position. But this guy's different when it comes to punt returns, no doubt about it. I've heard that a lot, though. You always hear like, "Oh, this guy's great in the return game," and then he gets to the NFL and not so much.
Jalen Darden, I've been there. And I told you Ted Johnson. I mean, he had 3 muff punts over the last couple years, so it's something he's going to have to work on. But with his size and everything, like you can't get away from it. Like if he's going to stick on this roster, like he's going to have to find some sort of specialty that he can really excel at, and I think it has to be punt returning. And especially with how loaded this receiver group is, I don't know how much you're going to see Tez Johnson on the field on that side of the ball. It is what it is, and that's why he's a 7th round pick.
Yep. All right, quickly to the hockey. We got Caps and Hurricanes tonight at 7 o'clock. You can go watch that at Riveters tonight. Enjoy the happy hour specials beforehand. Go get dinner there. Get the ribeye steak sandwich. Fantastic. 7 o'clock, Caps and Hurricanes. 2-1 series lead for the Canes, who are coming off a Frederick Anderson shutout. They seem to be taking control of this series over Washington, your number 1 seed.
The series I wanted to talk about was the Florida-Toronto one, which I've been glued in most to that series, and then Winnipeg and Dallas for the entertainment factor. But this Florida-Toronto one, so Toronto jumps out to the 2-0 lead, and then they basically blew game 3. They're up 2-0, then they're up 3-1. Marchand wins it in overtime. And then yesterday, they get a shutout victory. Toronto's stars are missing in action. Austin Matthews,
nothing. 4 games, nothing.
refusing to shoot the puck, which is just it's odd. This guy scored 69 goals last year. But the part of that I just find so interesting is it's like the shoes on the other foot now. And how does it feel, Florida? Where all of a sudden Toronto's pushing back a little bit, and there's been some questionable hits. There was one last night after the game was over where Max Domi checked Barkov into the boards, dangerous hit. And it came out today. Domi's been suspended, fined the maximum amount. He has not been suspended. Panther fans are having a meltdown over it. And it's just funny to me because, this team was taking shots in the first series the entire time. They were taking shots earlier in this series. In this specific game, I watched it. Dmitry Kulikov went headhunting on Mitch Marner and made contact with his head, and there was no call. Yep. And that sort of speaks to officiating, which has just been a disaster. And I'm not saying that NHL player safety is not a disaster in general, deciding what should be suspended and what should be fined or what not. But they're all like having like a heart attack right now. Like, oh, they're favoring Toronto. And it's like, please get real right now. After everything that they get away with, like, come on. I don't get it.
To hear Panthers fans whining about that is just so rich. So rich. You got to be kidding me. So now this is a series. Each team is held serve on their home ice, goes back to Toronto now, best of 3. 2 of those games are going to be in Toronto. Maple Leafs only had 22 shots last night. That looked like what Florida did to the Lightning for a lot of that series. They've just really shut them down in the neutral zone. Joseph Wall was really good last night. He was in goal for Toronto.
He's doing all he can. I mean, again, this should be Stolarz, but I wonder what happened to Anthony Stolarz. Anybody know?
I don't know. He got hit in the back of the head last time I saw him by an elbow.
Yeah, vomiting on the bench.
Yeah.
It did happen, didn't it?
Yeah, they're all the key players. They tend to get elbows in the back of their head when you play.
I don't think there was a fine or anything for that one.
No, he just kind of snuck it in there. Yeah. I just I cannot root for the Panthers. It's tough for me to root for the Maple Leafs, but I cannot root for the Panthers.
I feel like the Maple Leafs have done what they usually do, and they've given it away because you had a chance to bury the Florida Panthers in Game 3. And you didn't do it, and then you didn't show up last night. Now it's 2-2. The Florida Panthers are going to win this series. You gave them life. You let them back into it. Now they're even more charged. I saw Kachuk was like basically threatening somebody. I think maybe Nylander.
He's always threatening somebody. You mentioned Austin Matthews. I mean, again, just a complete no-show. He's got to show up these final 3 games.
I felt this way in the Four Nations. Like I'm watching like those Four Nation games, and I'm like, man,
he had a chance to win it, and he didn't.
I see all the stars for Team Canada showing out, and like Matthews, I thought was MIA there, and I think he's been MIA for large parts of this playoff stretch too. And it's odd because all the other stars of this game, you look at the point leaders, it's Rantanen, McDavid, it's Draisaitl. Man,
5 3-point games. Oh my God, 5 3-point games in 10 games.
Let this be a lesson.
That's never been done.
Let this be a lesson to all the teams around the league. When you have a superstar player and he wants money, just pay him the money. Don't do this dilly-dallying where you trade him in the middle of the season when you're in your window to win, and you have to pay for it if you're Colorado against Dallas. And I know they didn't trade him. I know they didn't trade him to Dallas, but guess what? That's the hockey way of telling you shouldn't have done this. And now he just seems to be so locked in right now. 18 points in 10 games in this postseason. Dallas is a wagon. Hellebuck, again, just cannot find the puck for Winnipeg. It's so bizarre. Dallas continues to be my favorite. I think we're on a collision course for Dallas and Florida. And I think from a viewer standpoint, that'd be awesome.
I agree. That's what I said before we started. I'm sticking to it. Dallas beat the Jets last night 5-2, so they're up 2-1 in that series. Game 4 Tuesday. Panthers and Maple Leafs Game 5 Wednesday in Toronto. What else? Tonight we have Vegas and Edmonton. This one is it tied? Oh, it's 2-1 Edmonton, right?
Yeah.
Riley, did you see Riley Smith's game winner? Oh my God. I always make a joke, if I make a bet, something historic is going to happen to beat me. Yeah, so when Edmonton was down 2-1 or 3-2 in the game, I bet they're going to come back. They're going to come back and win this game because that's what they've done 6 straight times. So they get the goal, they get the equalizer, and they're going to go to overtime and win, right? Easy.
Yep.
So with 0.4 seconds left, Riley Smith throws one across the crease, and it's going to go across the crease. It's not going to go in. Draisaitl sticks his stick out to block it and knocks it right into the freaking the latest goal in the history of Stanley Cup.
A little bit of a questionable angle taken by Stuart Skinner as well there, maybe?
Yes. But again, it took the latest goal in the history of the NHL playoffs to beat me on a bet. Something historic is going to happen to kick my ass if I bet. And that's exactly what happened.
Playoffs are delivering though. They never miss. God. They never miss. And I've watched so much of it, and I'm enjoying all of it. Even though I love it.
All right. So the NBA, we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll get into that a little bit more tomorrow. All right. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. Thank you guys for watching. I know you're off to watch another Brody Brazil video. Good luck with that. Not going to make it happen anymore. No, but good luck to you. Have a great day, everybody. We will talk to you again tomorrow.